Aid dependency. This editorial discusses the impact of USAID cuts on developing nations in Pakistan. With Donald Trump and Elon Musk effectively dismantling the U.S. Agency for International Development, and no guarantee that America's humanitarian arm will emerge intact after the ongoing restructuring, developing states, including the CSOs working in these countries, must come up with contingency plans. Effectively dismantling means significantly reducing or shutting down. U.S. Agency for International Development, USAID, is the American government's aid agency. Humanitarian arm means the part of the government responsible for relief efforts. Contingency plans means backup strategies. This sentence states that Trump and Musk are cutting USAID, leaving developing countries and civil society organizations, CSOs, needing alternative plans. The changes USAID is undergoing will have a global impact, with the developing world, including Pakistan, particularly affected. Global impact means worldwide consequences. Developing world refers to less economically advanced nations. Particularly affected means especially harmed. This sentence states that USAID's restructuring will negatively impact developing countries, including Pakistan. Although the aid agency has been known to participate in dubious overseas missions, for example, regime change, its funds were helping crucial sectors in developing states, such as health, education, and climate. Dubious overseas missions means controversial foreign operations. Regime change means efforts to overthrow governments. Crucial sectors means important areas like healthcare, education, and climate action. This sentence acknowledges USAID's political involvement, but highlights its positive contributions. It disbursed billions of dollars in assistance, helping fund projects to save lives, prevent disease, and promote educational activities, among other initiatives. Disbursed billions means distributed large amounts of money. Prevent disease means support healthcare efforts. Promote educational activities means fund learning initiatives. This sentence states that USAID played a major role in financing life-saving and developmental programs. Now, for the most part, all of this will come to an end. For the most part means largely. Come to an end means stop. This sentence states that USAID's funding for these projects is largely ending. Media reports say that some 39 projects in Pakistan, costing hundreds of millions of dollars, have been axed. Media reports means news sources. 39 projects means USAID-funded programs in Pakistan. Axed means canceled. This sentence states that nearly 48 projects in Pakistan have been shut down, amounting to millions in lost funding. It is also true that thousands of workers associated with USAID in America, as well as those working in the development sector worldwide, are now jobless due to the purge. Thousands of workers means a large number of employees. Development sector worldwide means global organizations working on aid projects. Jobless due to the purge means unemployed because of funding cuts. This sentence highlights the widespread job losses caused by USAID's restructuring. Two important points need to be made with regard to foreign aid. Two important points means key arguments. With regard to means concerning. This sentence introduces two major aspects of foreign aid that need discussion. Firstly, Western states, particularly the U.S., have a duty to support humanitarian endeavors, specifically in states they have bombed and invaded. Duty to support humanitarian endeavors means moral responsibility to help. Bombed and invaded means engaged in military actions. This sentence argues that Western nations should assist countries they have harmed through war. Hence, it is morally unacceptable that the U.S. spent billions on destroying states like Iraq, Afghanistan, and Syria, but now feels the need to tighten its purse strings where the reconstruction of these countries is concerned. Morally unacceptable means ethically wrong. Tighten its purse strings means reduce spending. This sentence criticizes the U.S. for spending on war, but cutting funds for rebuilding affected countries. Yet it is also true that the dependency syndrome stemming from an addiction to foreign aid that ails many developing states, Pakistan included, plays a key role in allowing the governments of these countries to shirk their duties in the social sector. Dependency syndrome means over-reliance on aid. Ails many developing states means harms poor nations. Shirk their duties means avoid responsibilities. This sentence states that foreign aid dependence allows governments to neglect social services. It is laudable when rich states offer a helping hand, but it is the primary responsibility of the governments of developing nations to provide their citizens with health, education, security, etc. Laudable means praiseworthy. Primary responsibility means main duty. This sentence argues that while foreign aid is helpful, governments must take charge of their own people's welfare. While the USAID closure has come as a jolt, it might offer an opportunity to the developing world to take responsibility for the well-being of its own people. Come as a jolt means been a shock. Opportunity means chance for change. This sentence states that losing USAID funding, while difficult, could push developing countries to become self-reliant. The fact is that governments, including ours, need to increase funding in critical areas such as healthcare that have been affected by the USAID shakeup. Increase funding means allocate more money. Critical areas means essential services. USAID shakeup means disruption in aid. This sentence states that governments must compensate for lost aid by boosting spending in vital sectors. Elsewhere, civil society groups need to adapt their policies accordingly and work to secure funding from other sources to ensure that important programs continue. Civil society groups means non-governmental organizations. Adapt their policies means adjust their strategies. Secure funding from other sources means find alternative financial support. This sentence suggests that NGOs must adjust to the aid cuts by seeking new funding. These include projects working for human rights, including marginalized minorities. Projects working for human rights means initiatives supporting justice and equality. Marginalized minorities means disadvantaged ethnic or social groups. This sentence states that funding cuts threaten programs protecting vulnerable communities. It is no use shedding tears over the lost billions that will no more be making their way from Washington to developing countries. No use shedding tears means pointless to mourn. Lost billions means discontinued aid money. This sentence states that instead of lamenting lost aid, developing nations must find solutions. The time has come to take responsibility for our own development. Take responsibility means become self-reliant. Own development means national progress. This sentence concludes that developing countries must stop relying on aid and focus on self-sufficiency. Published in Dawn, March 3, 2025,